When you're diagnosed with a twin pregnancy, the most important distinction that needs to be made is whether there are two separate placentas or just one. A twin pregnancy with two placentas is called dichorionic, and a twin pregnancy with one placenta that the twins have to share is called monochorionic. The word chorion in Latin means placenta. So a monochorionic twin pregnancy is a twin pregnancy where the twins have to share a single placenta. This takes us back to the very beginning because there are two ways that you can end up with twins. The first is that you ovulate two eggs. If you ovulate two eggs and each is fertilized by a sperm, you're basically going to experience two pregnancies in one uterus at the same time. And these are fraternal twins. They can both be boys or both girls or one boy and one girl, but what's clear is that they were always two separate eggs, two siblings, in the uterus at the same time. They each have their own sac and they each have their own placenta. And while things may get crowded in that one uterus, each twin has its own set of plumbing and its own set of resources from which to grow. The other way that you can end up with twins is if you ovulate just one egg and it gets fertilized with a sperm, but then, not long after it became an embryo, it splits right down the middle and goes from 1 to 2. The process of splitting is actually mind-staggering, no different than cloning, turning one individual into two. And people are working hard trying to figure out what controls this and keeps the splitting from going wrong. If you split very efficiently and very quickly, each twin actually ends up with its own sac and its own placenta, just like if there were two eggs that ovulated. Even though these twins are actually identical, on ultrasound you couldn't tell. You wouldn't be able to tell until after birth. Much more commonly, though, when one embryo splits into two, it doesn't split that quickly, and the twins end up having their own sac but sharing a single placenta. Unfortunately, sharing a single placenta is hard. It's like two apartments in one building that have to share plumbing, and one certainly can take more hot water and not leave enough for the other. Monochorionic twins can have a whole host of issues that come up in regards to how their circulations are connected within this placenta and how they actually share the resources in this one placenta. And it's critical that they're followed very closely with ultrasound. In fact, much more frequently than dichorionic twins, which is why it's so important from the very beginning that you and your doctor know whether your twins each have their own placenta or are sharing one. When done at 14 weeks or less, ultrasound can tell you with 100% certainty whether the twins have their own placentas or are sharing one. After 14 weeks, it's certainly still possible to tell if they're sharing one placenta. It's just a little bit less clear in certain circumstances.